wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servant, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come and our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen. Karibu sana. Please confirm to us that you're Mr. Joseph Monyolo Mkala, and also present your original documents to us.
Correct. My name's Joseph Monyalo Mkala.
And Isaac Matolo, member of County Assembly, representing the people of Matawad, and the chair of this committee. The rest of the members will introduce themselves while giving questions. So this is how we will go. We will take the preset questions, then later on we'll give chance to any additional question or follow-up questions. But before that, you will take oath. The sergeants will lead you, will guide you on how to take oath. Thank you.
I, Joseph Monyalo Mkala, do hereby swear to testify on all matters in question and tell this committee the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I will start off. Kindly introduce yourself and briefly highlight your career and leadership journey. You briefly introduce yourself and highlight on your career and leadership journey.
Having me and invite me for this meeting. My name is Joseph Monyalo Mkala. I was born in 1963. To be precise, on 15th September. I went to Manda Primary School from 1971 to 1977. In 1977, I did the certificate of primary education and obtained 24 points. I proceeded to Kwale High School in 1978 and did the Kenya Certificate of Education in 1981, in which I obtained a second division of 28 points. I will thereafter proceed to the Mombasa Polytechnic in September of 1982 for the Diploma in Business Administration program, which I successfully completed in July of 1984, having had a past diploma. In 1991, I will proceed for the higher diploma in Business Administration at the Mombasa Polytechnic, which was a 2-year program, which I successfully completed in July of 1993. In the year 2012, I joined Kenya Methodist University for a bachelor's degree in Business Administration, Human Resource Option, which I successfully completed in November of 2015. I was employed by St. Joe's Secondary School, Mgange, as an accounts clerk in 1986 to 1987. And later on in 1989, I will be employed by the Mombasa Polytechnic as an examinations officer and as executive officer in charge of exams up to 1998. I was in charge of all foreign exams, the Institute of Purchasing exams, the Institute of Chartership Brokers, CASNEB, CPA, CPS, secretarial, and all NEC technical exams. I left the Mombasa Polytechnic in 1988. In 2002, I was employed as a committee clerk by the County Council of Taita Taveta, which is now defunct, and up to 2014, in which I joined the County Assembly of Taita Taveta. In the County Assembly, I rose through the ranks from a senior human resource officer 1, a 2, to a senior human resource officer 1, and later on I became the principal human resource officer in 2020 up to 2022, when I took early retirement to seek an elective post in Mwanda Mugange ward. I am married to one Elizabeth Megulo and have 4 children. My career, I'll be very brief on this one. My career in leadership, I would say, it began when I was employed here as a committee clerk, because I was employed as a committee clerk at Job Group 15 in 2002. But in 2010, I was promoted to an administrative officer at Job Group 10. Later on, in 2014, I was employed by the County Assembly as a senior human resource officer 2. And in 2017, I was promoted by the County Assembly to the post of senior human resource officer 1. And later on, in 2020, I was promoted again to the post of senior principal human resource officer, the principal human resource officer. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The next question will be taken by Mheshimiwa Azar.
Thank you, Chair. To the nominee, my name is Azardin, representing Kalinod. I have a question for you. What are the values and principles of public service and Article 232 of the Constitution, and how do they apply to your role as a board member? Let me take it again. What are the values and principles of public service and Article 232 of the Constitution, and how do they apply to your role as a board member?
The values and principles of public service are 1, high standards of professional ethics. Number 2, economic use of resources. Number 3, efficient use of resources. Number 4, effective use of resources. Number 5, service delivery. Service delivery be prompt. Number 6, service delivery be effective. Number 7, inclusivity in policy formulation by the citizenry. Fair. Number 8, accountability. Number 9, number 8, accountability for administrative acts. Transparency and equality in promotions and equality in promotions. What they mean exactly is that we are talking of efficiency in use of resources, effective use of resources, economic use of resources. Why? Because the county government has a goal. That goal will be achieved by the people, the human resource. and those resources are scarce. So these resources must be used economically. That is, there should be no wastage. Effective in that they should be used optimally. When we talk of inclusion of the people in policy formulation, in law, it is required that the people must be consulted. There must be public participation. It's not a request, it is a requirement in law. When we talk of, it talks of accountability for administrative acts, it simply means that as an administrator, when you append your signature, you should know that you are accountable for having signed what you are doing or not doing by appending that signature. That is the very signature that can take you to, say, a committee, because you have signed and you are accountable as an officer. When you talk of high standards of professional ethics, every profession has, or industry has, a code of ethics in which those officers ought to follow diligently. So for me, or the other person, or the other senior person, that person is supposed to follow those values, so much so that, because those are the values that will guide him as an officer in achieving those goals. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. MCS Agala, you'll take the next question.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, Mr. Mkala, the nominee. I have one question for you, and it goes like this. What accountability mechanisms should be in place? What accountability mechanisms should be in place to make the County Public Service Board more transparent to the County Assembly and the public? I repeat, what accountability mechanisms should be put in place to make the County Public Service Board more transparent to the County Assembly and the public?
Thank you for the question. I think because we are talking about transparency, I think the first thing will be transparency in itself. Everything that is being done should be open to the public, so much so that there's nothing hidden, there's nothing which is done under the carpet. Another thing is, I think oversight must be strengthened in a way like having more briefings. The County Public Service Board should have, the Assembly should be given more briefings by the County Public Service Board to get to know what is happening in its operations. Another thing will be annual or half-yearly reports. I think it will be apparent for the County Public Service Board to brief the Assembly, or rather the Assembly to get briefings, to get reports from the County Public Service Board on appointments, on promotions, on discipline issues, and on discipline issues. Another thing will be, we could have a situation whereby, say, we have a performance contract between the Assembly and the individual members of the County Public Service Board, in which within a given time, say 1 year, there will be an evaluation on what has been done and what has not been done. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. You're satisfied? Okay. Honorable Patricia, the next question.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Patricia Moshigadi, and question goes for you, Mr. Mkala. How will you handle a situation where the County Public Service Board decision conflicts with political expectation from the executive or the assembly? How will you handle a situation where the County Public Service Board decision conflicts with political expectation from the executive or the assembly? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. The question is, how would you handle a situation where the County Public Service Board decision conflicts with political expectations of the assembly or I think the first thing is to peg our decisions as a board on the law and the constitution, because as citizens we ought to defend, to uphold and defend the constitution. So if we have a situation whereby we can peg that decision on the law and constitution, every other person will by law be required to defend the same. Another thing is number two, I think, is in law the County Public Service Board is independent. It is within the county government, yes, but it is independent as an entity, so much so that where there is where there is discontent between the County Public Service Board decision and political expression of the assembly and the executive, it will be imperative that the board can revert and hold on to its independence. Perhaps another thinking will be to discuss the issue. If there is a difference between these two organs, I think it is possible to have dialogue, so much so that the County Public Service Board can dialogue with the assembly or the executive and affirm its position, just why it came to that decision, which will be understood. And I think perhaps it will also be important for the County Public Service Board to have documentation of its decisions, so much so that over time it can justify those decisions if and when they are challenged by any other person or entity for that matter. Thank you, Chair.
Asante. Mheshimiwa Ann, utasoma swali linalofuata.
Thank you, Chair. My question is, the County Public Service Board is a collective decision-making body. How would you approach the disagreement among the board members?
I'm sorry, the County Public Service Board is a collective decision-making body. How would you?
My question is, the County Public Service Board is a collective decision-making body. How would you approach disagreement among board members? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair, for the question. In normal circumstances, indeed, yes. The County Public Service Board is a collective decision-making body. That is, those decisions which will be arrived at will be binding to all members of that entity. But the arrival of those decisions could differ. There are those that members will agree unanimously, and there are those that in which there will be disagreements. In a situation where we have disagreements, I think the best logical way of sorting it out is to go to the vote. So much so that when the vote is done, then it becomes binding to all members of the board. I think the other thing is number two is to perhaps I've disagreed with on an issue on an issue, and we have decided the board rather has decided, say 4 against 1. Then as an individual, I should respect the decision which has been taken by all other members. Yes, I will have lost, but that decision binds on me, and I should go by it. Another thing, I think for me, the best way forward will be not to trivialize what we are discussing. It will be important for me to look at the topical issues. What is it that we are discussing? What is the issue? Rather than personalize the discussions. It will not be me, between me. The disagreement should not be between me and Joshua, or Joshua and Mkala. The disagreement should be between the issues that we are disagreeing on. As a professional, I should look at the issue, not at the individual. I think that would be the third. Perhaps the fourth will be. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Mheshimiwa, take question 7, but before you, Mheshimiwa Jonas, question 6.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, first of all, allow me to congratulate for securing this nomination position by the governor. So congratulations, Mr. Mkala, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
My question is this, Mr. Chair. What role should the County Public Service Board play in promoting ethical standards and discipline among the county staff? Can I repeat, Mr. Mkala? Oh, you're okay. Can I? Okay. What role should the County Public Service Board play in promoting ethical standards and discipline among county staff? Is that okay? Okay.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you also, Honorable Jones, for your kind words. The role that the County Public Service Board should play in promoting ethical standards and discipline must be exemplary. I mean, the County Public Service Board must lead from the front. So much so that I think the first thing is say for its promotions, for its recruitment, they must be above board. That is the only way it should lead by example. That is number one. So all promotions, all recruitments must be above board, must they must be open to the public, they must follow due process. I think number two, for discipline cases, because it will be handling discipline cases, all discipline cases must follow due process, and they must also be done fairly as is required by law. Perhaps another thing will be policy. The County Public Service Board should implement policy as by law required. So that's the only way it can prove it can promote ethical standards. It should follow. It should implement the law as it is. That is Article 232 of the Constitution. And another issue, perhaps, for the County Public Service Board, because it has the mandate of oversighting the public service. So it can also play its role by oversighting the public service as by law mandated. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Chair. I have a question for you. Now that you have mentioned that you are a HR person and you have worked in this institution in a senior HR position, there must be some issues that you have seen, and there are some gaps maybe you might have realized. And we want to make sure that this board that is coming in, and you being one of the persons that probably you might be appointed to serve, we want this board to be very effective. So what are some of the innovations that you'll propose to make this board more effective, particularly in ensuring prudent wage bill management and sustainable human resource practices? The innovation that you'll bring into place so that you can make the board to be more effective in ensuring prudent wage bill management and sustainable human resource practices.
Thank you, Chair, for the question. I think I've been, as you have put it, I've worked for years on end in the HR department, and I can tell you, one of the biggest problems is not following the law as it should. And have those practical experiences. For one, if we want to make the board more effective, we must follow the law as to the latter. If it comes to discipline, as an oversight body, let us follow the law, let us discipline. There are just no two ways. So in my thinking, I think the most important thing is to implement. We have enough laws. So for us, for me, the most important thing is to implement the law to the latter as it is. Another thing, another issue that will make the board more effective is, I think, policy formulation. we must have enough policy formulated to manage operations of the board. I've not been there, I'm not there, but I think we do not have enough policy as of now to make the board as effective as it should be. Another thing that should make the board more effective to the responses of the county government is to get to know the challenges. Any other challenge that we have as a county is not meant to destroy us. It is supposed to take us to the next level. So where we identify the challenges and handle them, as a board, we should be able to identify those challenges and handle them to enable us move from where we are to the next level. Thank you, Chair. I hope you have answered the question.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Anisa.
Thank you, Mr. Mkala. I only have one question for you. Any board of any nature is supposed to be independent, and you can't get that independence until you fight and claim for it. And you are heading towards there. How will you safeguard the independence of this county public service board from political and executive interference?
From political interference, how will...
Let me repeat. How will you safeguard the independence of the county public service board from political and executive interference? Because it's supposed to be very independent.
I think one, we will safeguard the independence of it is not okay, it is us by sticking to the law, because the independence of the County Public Service Board is enshrined in law, in the County Government Act, sections 57 and 58. That act gives the County Public Service Board its independence. So it is in law, and it will be for the board as an entity to uphold that independence. My thinking is that is the very place that we can cling on, just the law.
Back to you again. The issue is here is safeguarding that independence. How do you safeguard it? You already have it legally, but how are you going to safeguard it?
For us to safeguard it, I think we must we can only safeguard it if we operate within the law. That is, we must be ethical, because if you are not ethical, then of course the political class will be up in arms, the executive will be up in arms. But if we are ethical, we will be operating within the law. If we do promotions and appointments as is by law required, then we will be safeguarding that independence, because we'll have done the right thing. That's my thinking, unless I've misinterpreted the question. But that's my thinking.
Thank you, Chair. I'll stop at that.
Okay, Mheshimiwa Shingira.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Rose Shingira. Mr. Mkala, what measures would you take to address nepotism, favorism, and tribalism in recruitment and promotion? What measures would you take to address nepotism, favorism, and tribalism in recruitment and promotions?
I think the first thing to address nepotism, favoritism, and recruitment is again to operate within the law, because if we operate within the law, the nepotism will not be there, and if it will be there, if it will want to appear, it will be captured in the bud. Favoritism will also be captured before the process ends. So for me, operationalization of the recruitment process within pegging the recruitment process within the law and the constitution will help solve this problem. Another way of addressing nepotism is to ensure that we adhere to the conflict of interest. If and when a member of the board or an employee in the county government, for that matter, wants to be nepotic, then the best advice, and that person is in the decision-making body or high-ranking official, then the best thing to do will be to advise that person to fill the necessary forms, so much so that he can recuse him or herself from making those decisions. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, you are satisfied? Okay, to the next question. As a member of the board, Mr. Joseph, how will you handle staff misconduct, absenteeism, and underperformance? As a member of the board, how you will handle staff misconduct, absenteeism, and underperformance?
Staff absenteeism, I'm sorry. Misconduct,
and underperformance.
I think, thank you, Chair, for that question. I think for underperformance, the officer who is underperforming will need support. That will be the ideal. That will be the ideal take. That officer will need support, and the best way forward is to have a performance plan of how performance improvement plan on where he is and how he can go out of that malaise. If that one works, fine. If that one doesn't work, of course, then the officer should be summoned and requested to explain why he's still underperforming, having had the support and assistance that he would have been given. Another option will be to redeploy that person. Having talked to that person, you listen to him, then a decision can be made to redeploy that person. If that one fails, If that one fails, then of course we can go to a punitive, we can take punitive measures against that officer. On absenteeism and misconduct, the first thing will be verbal warnings. You just warn that person verbally, first warning, second warning, third warning. And then you come to what we call the show cause letters, in which, having written the letter, that officer is supposed to avail himself and explain why the absenteeism or misconduct. If it does not work and the misconduct of the absenteeism continues, then that officer is supposed to be called in to the office to explain, is supposed to be written. It must be put in writing, because now this one is evidence, so that over time we will build a case on the issue. If it is a misconduct, we will build a case that which can sustain us even before a court of law. The same for absenteeism. So much so that over time, if that problem continues, if that person, say, is demoted or dismissed, because that will be the last stage, then we'll have built our case from the very beginning. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, we are through with the preset questions. So maybe if anyone has a comment or additional question from the members. Okay, Mr. Joseph, you can give us your parting shot.
Thank you, Chair, and the members for inviting me. I am indeed privileged to sit before this committee. And as a person, I feel as part of the county assembly, because I grew up in the civil service as an employee of the County Council of Taita Taveta, and I was also privileged to serve in the County Assembly of Taita Taveta. I've had the privilege of serving with some of the members here at the level of the County Council and at the level of the County Assembly. And my humble prayer is that this committee will consider the experience that I have, the challenges that I've undergone as a person, will in a way help the County Public Service Board and the County Government of Taita Taveta going forward. That is my humble prayer and parting shot to the chair of the committee and honorable members. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too. You will confirm that all your original documents are back with you. Then we are through. We are also happy that you came, and sergeants will lead you to where tea is served. Then thank you for your engagement. Thank you. The meeting stands adjourned.